Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and this is lesson 26. We'll be multiplying and dividing mixed numbers, and these are the starred problems from the written practice that start on page 185 in your Saxon Course 2 math textbook. Let's go ahead and get started. Maybe. There we go. Okay, number 6. Diagram this statement. So this is the first thing we'll do. Diagram this statement and answer the questions. And then it looks like it says begin, so maybe this is the second thing and this is the third thing. Begin by changing the percent to a reduced fraction. So let's see what we've got. 40%. I'm going to stop there because I know the first thing I have to do is reduce that percent to a reduced fraction. So I have 40% or 40 per 100. And I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2 and see what I get. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And this is my reduced fraction. So this denominator tells me how many spaces I need in my diagram. 3. So now I have 5 spaces. So 40% or 2/5 of the marbles, of the 60 marbles, so that's my total. I'm going to put this at the top, were blue. So I know that this much, or 3/5, were not blue. And I need to find out what goes in each one of these boxes. So I'm going to divide 60 by 5, and I get 12. So I get 12 in each one of these boxes. Now I haven't even read the questions yet. I'm just making my diagram. So let me change colors here. A says, how many of the marbles in the bag were blue? So I have 2/5 were blue, so 12 plus 12. So I have 24 blue marbles. How many were not blue? So that's 3/5, or 12 plus 12 plus 12, which is 36. All right, number 7. Rowan estimated the weight of the water in the full bathtub as a 1/4 ton. How many pounds is a 1/4 of a ton? So 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. And if I want to divide that by 4, a 1/4 ton, then I'm going to divide this by 4 as well. And 2,000 divided by 4, trusty dusty calculator, is 500 pounds. So that's a 1/4 ton. Okay, and just describe how you got your answer. This is how I got my answer. Okay, next one. Number 8. The figure shows a 1 inch by a 1 inch square. The smaller square is 7/10 of an inch. What fraction of the square inch is shaded? Okay, what percent of the square is not shaded? So what I know is from here to here, I have 10, and from here to here, I have 10. So I know that this 7 by 7, I know I have 49 blocks in there. Okay, so I have 49 out of 100 that is shaded. Okay, and I can't reduce that. That's my answer to A. Because 7 times 7, this is 49. You can count them if you would like. And then it says, what percent is not shaded? Well, I know that percent is per 100, right? So I know 49% is shaded. So how do I figure out what's not shaded? I'm going to subtract, and I get 51% is not shaded. Is that right? Let me double check my minus 49 is 51. Yes. So my answer to B is 51%. All right, number 9A. Write 2010. Sorry, let's try that again. 210 and 252 as products of prime numbers. Okay, so we're going to reduce these two. Let's go ahead and find and do the, okay. Let's see, is it going to let me? There we go. So let's do 210. Divide by 2. Oh, I think it's 105. 105. We know 2 is prime. And then I'm going to divide by 5, because 5 is prime, and I get 21. This is 3 and 7. Okay, so my prime factors for 210 are 2, 3, 5, and 7. So let's find 252. I'm trying to find a good place for it. Let's divide by 2 again, and I'm using my calculator because I don't know that off the top of my head. 126, and let's divide by 2 again. Again, using my calculator, I get 63, which is 7 and 9. 7 is prime, and then 3. So for 252, I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. Okay, so let's see what we have for common factors. Oh gosh, that's loud. Okay. So the greatest common factor, I'm going to do 2 times 3 times 7, which is 2 times 21, which is 42. So that's going to be... so basically what you do is you get the prime numbers, and then you circle the ones that are the same, and then you multiply those together. So let's go on to the next problem. It says draw a 2 by 2 grid. On the grid, by a 1.5 sketch a 1.5 by 1.5 inch square. So each of these sides is 1.5. What is the area of the square? So you don't need to do this, and I've already drawn the square because I want to see what it looks like. But if I'm going to find the area, I know that the area of a square is side times side, or side squared. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 1/2. And the first thing I have to do is popcorn these. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, all over 2. And this is the same. And then I multiply the top. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. And then when I divide 4 into 9, I get 2 1/4. So that is going to be my area. I'm going to pause the video for a second and take it out of this view so that I can use my ruler so we can do 13. Okay, so now I can move my ruler around, and you can see me moving my ruler around. It says, let's read 13, which I know is not starred, but draw AB as 2 inches long, then draw BC as 1.5 inches long, perpendicular. So we know that that is, oops, okay, is it going to let me draw? There we go. So we know perpendicular is like, come on, Neil. Perpendicular, let me draw. Perpendicular looks like this. It makes a 90-degree angle to AB and then complete. So I'm going to be drawing a triangle. AC, how long is AC? Now I can actually measure that because I have my ruler here, right? So let me take this and I'll draw my 2 inches long. Let's see. Come on, escape. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. This is AB. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate my ruler and move it so that I can do, let's see, we need BC to be 1.5 inches. So let's see, BC, it's going to go to here, 1.5. So there's C, okay, and then I'm going to need to draw AB, or AC. And it wants to know how long this is. So let me rotate this. Ooh, mercy. Okay. See if I can get it at least close, because my line is not. Oh, we got to use the correct side. Shoot fire. Okay. And this is inches, and I'm trying to get it there. And it looks like it's 2.5 inches. Okay, so I would say 2.5 inches equals AC. All right. All right, let's continue with our starred problems. So we have 9 1/9 minus 4 4/9. We see that we can't subtract 1 from 4, so I'm going to have to borrow 1. So when I borrow 1, I'm going to borrow 1 in the form of 9/9. So this becomes 8. 1 plus 9 is 10/9. And this just comes over. We don't do anything with this. It remains 4 4/9. Now I can subtract 10 minus 4 is 6/9, because we keep our denominator when we add and subtract fractions. And 8 minus 4 is 4. Then I have to reduce this fraction. So I'm going to divide by 3. My whole number remains the same, 4. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and that's going to be my answer. Let me change colors here. And I know that 2.5 squared is 2.5 times 2.5. So I'm going to have to do my popcorn here. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, all over 2 times, and this is going to be 5 over 2 as well, since they're the same. 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 4, I'm sorry, 2 times 2 is 4. Getting ahead of myself. And then if I divide 4 into 25, I think we got 6 and 1/4. That's a 4, kind of. Okay. Change the colors here again. And now I have 3 1/3 divided by 4. I'm going to put the 4 over 1, and I'm going to popcorn the mixed number into an improper fraction. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, all over 3. Keep my divide, 4 over 1. Now I can do my keep, change, flip. Okay, so I keep my 10/3, I change my divide to multiply, and I flip my 4 over 1 to 1/4. 10 times 1 is 10. 3 times 4 is 12. Let's go ahead and reduce that by dividing by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and that is our answer. All right, so 21, I'm going to go ahead and reduce ahead of time. You're welcome to multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and reduce afterwards. But I want to show you how to reduce ahead of time. So I'm going to take this 5 and this 10. 5 goes into 5 once, goes into 10 twice. Remember, it has to be on the top and the bottom. And so what I get is 1 over 8 times 3 over 2 times 1 over 6. And I've got another reduction I can make. So I know that 3 and 6 are divisible by 3. So if I divide by 3, I get 1 and I get 2, which gives me 1 over 8 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2. Okay, so then 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Okay, let's change this again. Okay, so we are dividing mixed numbers. We're going to have to popcorn them first. So I have 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8, all over 5, divided by 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, all over 3. Now I can keep, change, flip. So I keep my 8/5, I change my divide to multiply, and I flip my 8/3 to 3/8. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 8 is 40. I'm going to divide by 2, because I'm not exactly sure what else to divide by. I think 4 probably. Let's do 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 40 divided by 4 is 10. So let's divide by 2 again, because we can do that. And you can divide as many times as you need. You just need to make sure that your final reduced fraction can no longer be divided by anything. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that is my answer. Okay, 26. Name each property used to simplify this equation. Okay, so this is my given. I have 3 over 2 times 2 over 3x is equal to 5, 6. I've changed from given to a, I've changed a parentheses. Parentheses are associative property, and since it's multiplication, it will be of multiplication. Okay, and then 3 over 2 times 2 over 3, this is the inverse property, okay, because those are reciprocals of one another. And then 1 times anything is that thing, that's identity property. And let's see if we have more. We do have one more. I'm going to have to do another video on this one. So this will be part 1, and part 2 is coming up. Stay tuned.